Hello friends, welcome back to another installment of the Ariel Chronicles. I know, I'm a geek. I work hard at that. So we've got 4 sections left and cat hair and such, of course. Although it really doesn't matter because that's going to be cut off anyway. So, and I should have put washi tape, but we're a little late into that matter. So let's just get started. So get out my wax and my rubbish jar and pens. Which one today? Yeah, we'll just stick with my usuals. These seem to be my go-to pens. These are ones that I covered. It's just a pink, one of the pink pens that I covered with polymer clay to make it a little bit thicker. Alrighty, so let's see. We'll start over here on the corner. We'll save blue for last. We'll start with skin. Why not? So what have y'all been up to? I am recovering from cookie season. Emily did not reach her goal. She made it about halfway. And thank you all for those that did purchase cookies and helped her get to where she did get. She ended up just over halfway, which she decided was okay because she looked over the prizes again to see, you know, what she was going to end up getting. And she decided that the prizes at the upper levels that she didn't reach weren't all that important. Which I guess is a good thing, because otherwise we'd have a pretty bummed out kid. But the last couple of booths pushed her over her halfway mark. She did make enough sales to get to go on the trip, which was the main goal, was going on the trip. And our trip will be to Busch Gardens. It's going to be pretty awesome, actually. We are going to get to spend the night in the park and walk around with the trainers and see the animals. We get like a behind-the-scenes nocturnal tour, which will be pretty flippin' amazing. And I don't think the girls quite understand how awesome that's going to be, but I definitely do. Tigers are one of my longtime favorite animals. I think they were probably my first love when it came to, you know, discovering animals and liking them and such. Before I grew up and realized how dangerous it was, I always said I was going to own a Bengal and a white Bengal. But then I grew up and I realized how terrible that would be for the animal and how dangerous it could be for me. But still, tigers are absolutely gorgeous creatures, and they are just stunning. So that's always been one of the highlights for me when we have gone to Busch Gardens. So getting to spend the night there is going to be pretty flippin' spectacular. And then when we wake up on Saturday, we will spend the day at the park doing the normal Busch Gardens stuff. And then we'll go to dinner. And then that night, there is a children's museum that we are going to be spending the night at on Saturday. And we get to do all kinds of cool activities that night that they have planned for us. And it is going to be so much fun. So this is like the biggest trip so far that we have undertaken. It's definitely the furthest away from home, but we are going to have a blast because we did St. Augustine last year, I think it was last year, and that was pretty awesome in itself, but this is definitely going to be epic, so to speak. At least I think it will be. I think we're going to have a really good time. And I have never been to the museum, so it's going to be a first for me there, and it'll be, you know, nice to experience that. Because, you know, I mean, it's a kids museum. How cool? I mean, it's going to be really cool. But anyway, so that is that. I haven't been feeling all the greatest. I guess my fibro is flaring up still, but, you know, stress adds to that, and it takes longer to recover than a normal person does, which I have to keep reminding myself of that and not get so mad at myself. But it's hard when you're like, geez, I'm you know, mid-40s. I shouldn't be needing to lay in bed for hours at a time, you know, because I can't move without extreme pain. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you got to listen to your body. And if you don't, then you pay for it even worse. So, you know, I just got to suck it up. And I mean, this is fairly new to me, so I don't even know how long I've had fibro. I suspect it's been several years, but I've just been diagnosed within the last year or so. So it definitely explains a lot, but it takes a lot of getting used to and a different mindset of not getting mad at your body when your body's saying, nope, nope, had enough, can't do anymore. And it's funny because like, you know, last year and the year before, Emily and I would do 6-hour shifts, you know, at these booths. And I would be tired, but nothing like this year. I mean, this year I only did a couple of 4-hour shifts because I knew I would not be able to handle it. And even the 4-hour shift was it knocked me on my butt the whole next day. I was out of commission. I was in so much pain. And that's just sitting in a stinking chair outside, which you would think would be super simple. But, you know, it's that, you know, being stagnant, sitting in one place for all that time and not really getting up and moving around all that much because, you know, you gotta stay focused on the girls and make sure that they're not getting ripped off. And so it's not like I can get up and walk around. But anyway, cookie season's over. Get a whole year before we have to deal with it again. And I can tell you, everyone in our troop is relieved that it's over. And I don't think we have all that many cookies left as a troop. I mean, I know as a troop we don't. We sold pretty much what we had on hand, which was awesome. We were very conservative with our ordering. But I even think that the parents, you know, sold the majority of what they had. So, because, you know, you sign out these cookies and you're responsible for selling them, and then you got to turn in the money for them. So I haven't heard a whole lot of upset parents with, what am I going to do with these cookies? I can't sell them. So I think we did pretty good as a whole. And I want to say it's like 14,000 packages of cookies is what our troop sold. So it's pretty stinking amazing if you think about it. That is a lot of cookies just in our community and online. I mean, we do, you know, that counts, the online counts. But man, 14,000, that just blows my mind. Girl Scout cookies are a huge business, and it's really cool now, especially, you know, a lot of people are belly aching about Girl Scouts, and, you know, they're all money hungry and all this stuff. And, well, yeah, you know, they got to make money. They got to survive. They got to keep the company afloat, so to speak. But as far as the cookies go, the troop gets $1, just over $1 a box is what our troop earned. So I mean, it's a huge fundraiser, and it really helps because, you know, then we can do activities and we're not telling the parents, okay, you got to pay $50 for this and $100 for that. And, you know, sometimes it's only $20 because we can use cookie money for these activities to offset the majority of the cost. And then parents, more girls can participate because, you know, you don't have to worry about parents not being able to afford, you know, because like with Busch Gardens, there's no way that I could afford for me and Emily to go to Busch Gardens and spend the night. Because for us, it's about 2 hours. So it's, you know, it's not feasible to drive down and drive back in the same day. That's just too much, especially with I-4. If any of y'all have ever been on I-4 in Orlando, man, it's like a nightmare. I was going to compare it to Atlanta, but that's not a fair comparison because that's a whole different beast. But I-4 is pretty crazy, and there's always construction, and tons of people travel I-4. It might as well be a you know, a state highway, not just a city type throughway, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what to call it. Anyway, so that's that. And Emily has been sick this weekend. Not feeling very good. Fever and such. So it's been a fairly calm weekend for us, which is nice given the fact that for the last 6 weeks we've been busy all weekend long. So I hope that it's just a quick illness for her and nothing too major. So she seems to be feeling better. But she had some fever and sore throat, not wanting to eat. Yeah, just typical kid illness, I guess you could say. So we don't have anything too exciting planned coming up. Although I do have to say that I have a new grandbaby coming. I know, isn't that freakish? I have stepkids that are much older than Emily. And my stepdaughter is expecting her second child this month. So that's very exciting. Very, very exciting. She's having a little girl. Her first child was a boy. So it's very exciting. She'll have one of each. Emily's counting down the days, which is really cute. It's kind of sad though, because they don't live in Florida, so we won't get to see them very often, but that's the good thing about Facebook and smartphones and all that good stuff. Technology. Get to see a whole lot more than you used to. And like when we moved down here, when I was in school, my sister had gotten married and stayed up there, and she had my nephew. So we would have to wait for photos and letters to come in the mail, and when you call on the phone, you just, you know, there's just talking. There's no seeing. Not to mention the fact that phone calls were so expensive. Long distance phone calls were so expensive. So we didn't get to talk very often because it was just so expensive. So times have definitely changed. No more long distance charges and all that jazz. It's funny when you think back, you know, you look at your childhood compared to your parents' childhood and what a difference that was. And you think, you know, how could it get any better than what it is, you know, as you're growing up, since it was so much better than mom and dad had it. But now look at what we've got compared to even just 20 years ago. Things have changed so much. But I guess they really do change, you know, like that throughout history. It's just when you're living it, it's just so surreal. Somebody else feel that way? I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. I've had a couple people ask me when I'm going to be turning comments back on. And that, like I've said numerous times, is completely out of my hands. That is YouTube. And I guess until they have sufficient... Well, I don't know if they ever will turn my comments back on because Emily is in previous videos. And I am not taking down any videos because I have, you know, content in those that I refer to periodically and I would like to keep as a reference for new people to my channel or new people to diamond painting. So you're just going to have to continue to email me or talk to me on Facebook. You can always message me on Messenger and I will get back to you as quickly as possible because I don't always have my phone near me. I especially recently, I just, you know, I put it down and I go do other stuff. So I didn't keep it close by all the time. But I am always open to emails, questions, comments, concerns. A lot of times I have people asking me where I get a certain painting or asking for the seller on eBay, and 9 times out of 10 they're not relisted. They only have that one, which I don't quite understand because I know there's hundreds of them out there. And then sometimes they'll pop back up again, you know, later. But that's why I have Peggy Buy and AliExpress linked in all of my videos, because a lot of times you can find the same paintings and sometimes you can even find them bigger. So you might even get one better than what I got on eBay. So if you're ever looking for a painting that I've shown, definitely click on those links. To AliExpress or to Peggy Buy and search for them that way. Let's see, which color do I want to do next? Let's stick with the skin. Not really well. I think this is just shadow. I don't know if this is actually her skin. So what else? What else? What else? It's really hard. I know I've mentioned this more than once. It's really hard to keep talking. And we've had prescribed burns in our area, so the smoke has been really bad. So my throat is irritated, so I feel like I sound all froggy. But yeah, those prescribed burns, aren't those fun? This time we didn't have any ash coming over our house, but there was one that was just about a mile, 2 miles away from us the other day, and I was like, oh, great. But the the wind was low enough that it kept the ash from blowing all over the place. We just had to smell the smoke. So pleasant. But it's better than having out of control wildfire. There was several years ago that the Ocala National Forest caught fire, and they're pretty sure it was due to lightning, and that was horrible. They had such a hard time getting that under control, putting it out. So try not to complain too much about these control burns, but it's just been, just wish they wouldn't do them all at once, but I guess they kind of have to when you're working against nature. This is a weird one. These are actually stuck together back to back, like perfectly, like a perfect little, yeah, they're stuck all right. Not coming apart. So I finished one of my crochet, well, I didn't really finish it. I stopped because I got mad at it. One of my crochet projects, because you know how I have been doing really good, trying to be really good about not starting a bunch of new projects. Well, I have to admit, I bought two new patterns, and I started a new crochet along. But I did not start those two new patterns that I bought. I just have them put aside. But the crochet along that I started, I'm super excited about because it's one of my favorite types of patterns. But the one that I marked finished, I discovered that I had made quite a few mistakes in it. And so I wasn't able to keep going with the pattern the way it was written because it wasn't going to work. So I decided to just, what's the word I want? I just kind of added a few rows to like make it look finished, so I wasn't just stopping. And then I called it done because I was way too far along to rip it out and start over. Or just rip it out and be, you know, there was no way I was ripping out all that work because I started this blanket around Christmas time, and it is a very elaborate pattern with a lot of texture stitches, which take a lot of extra time. So the ones that I have shown it to tell me that it looks good and that no one would ever know that there's mistakes in it. Now I just have to decide what I'm going to do with it. Do I just throw it in a corner, lock it in a closet? I don't know. My husband told me I should gift it because that person would never know. Only I and the person who wrote the pattern would be able to see all the mistakes. But since it's my first time, I do have a second blanket of this pattern started, and it's not as far along as this one was. So I'm hoping that I haven't made the same mistakes in the second version, and I'm hoping that I can actually finish it all the way through to the actual, you know, what it's supposed to look like, because, oh man, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. And I was going to show you, but I decided I didn't want to show you because I'm still really upset over it. Because I just realized this past week that how bad it, because I knew I had a few mistakes, but I didn't really realize I was so far off on my counts. And that is one thing that you have got to be religious about when you are doing a pattern like that. You have got to count and count and count and recount and count again. Because if you do not have it right, The only way to fix it is to rip it all out. So, I mean, it does look really cool still. I'm just upset because I really wanted to do this pattern because it's so cool. But hopefully the second one will work out. I'm just stepping away from it for a few weeks maybe, just to kind of let my emotions calm down a little bit so I don't start making a bunch of mistakes like I did in the first one. But the new blanket I started, super exciting. It's I'm using a rainbow, they call it a self-striping yarn. So that means that the color changes automatically. So it's like dyed into the yarn, the way the color changes are dyed into the yarn. So it's gonna be, you don't have to change the colors yourself. You just keep going and it's all one piece, which is super cool. And I love using those kind of yarns. Well, I use that yarn a lot, but this one is, it's actually going to be rainbow colors. And Emily and I both have the same feelings about rainbows. Rainbows are gorgeous. Since we love all colors, we love rainbows. And God promised that he would never flood the earth again. And his promise was the rainbow. So I have always held fast to that promise of, you know, well, we won't get into that, but I love rainbows. So I'm happy about this new blanket. Missed a few E's, so I'm going back and putting them in place. Although you wouldn't know that because I don't think can you tell which color I'm doing? I don't really think you can. See, I go much slower when I talk because it's been almost 30 minutes already and that's all I've done. Plus my throat is getting sore, more sore. Emily better not have given me her crud. Not be happy with her. Let's see. I'm trying to pick like the colors with the smallest run now to maybe speed up a little bit. Does it work that way? Or does it take longer to get them situated? What? I forgot. Oh, forgot which color I was doing. See, I'm just so caught up my fibro brain. The other night, I'm the one that kind of like the unofficial treasurer, so to speak, when cookie season is about. I collect the money from the parents, and, you know, when they come in to drop their girls off. And of course, they have to count it and write the receipt out. And a couple weeks ago, I renamed one of the girls. And her mom was like, her name is blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I know that. She's like, well, why did you write that then? It's like, oh, it wasn't even close. I'm like, wow, that's really bad. So now the running joke is, yeah, I renamed your child. But I was having to ask these parents, I'm like, who's your daughter again? Who's your child? And they were looking at me like I was crazy. And I kept laughing at myself because I was like, man, this is pitiful. I mean, I know these people, I know these kids. What is wrong with me? And then I would like count the money that they would give me, and I would say, you know, how much they gave me, because I always tell it back to them, like, okay, this is how much you gave me. They're like, yep, that's right. And before I could get from saying it to writing it down on the receipt book, I would forget. I'd be like, how much did we just say? And they were looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, I'm sorry, it's my fibro brain. I can't focus. Scary. They're probably thinking, yeah, you're taking my money? I don't think I want you taking my money. but it's just one of those things. And then I found an article that I actually shared on Facebook. Because, you know, a lot of people really don't know what fibromyalgia is. And they have no idea what it does to people or what it's like. So I shared it, and it's like not written well because the grammar and the words are not right in some places. But it's definitely right on with how I feel. Excuse me. A lot of days with, you know, like I was talking about with the cookie booths and how sitting for 4 hours takes me out the whole next day. But, and then like with my brain, you're being forgetful and scattered and that kind of stuff. It's just like, man, it really is real, you know? It's not just some diagnosis that people come up with to, you know, for attention or whatever. This is accurate. This really is what I have. I'm not making it up. I'm, you know, just kind of validation, I guess you could say. Which is always a good thing when you're questioning your own sanity, right? This is so pretty. I want so many of these crystal canvases. I would do every single one in nothing but rhinestones if I could, because I love it. Rhinestones and AB, whoops, and ABs. I keep spilling. All right, I think I'm going to speed up for a little bit and let my throat rest, because now that I'm starting to cough, I know y'all don't want to listen to that, especially if you're using headphones. That would not be pleasant. So I will speed up for a little while, and then we'll come back towards the end. All right. here we have the last color for this small section. Numero tres. This one is really pretty. It reminds me of deep water. Nice, deep, beautiful blue color. So there we have it. We're getting there. 3 more sections. If you all have anything that you want me to answer or talk about while I'm doing the next sections of this canvas, you can message them to me, or like I said, email them before. Either way, if you don't do Facebook, you can always email me. The email address and link to the Facebook group are in the description of this. Also, be sure to go check in on Jill, see how far along she is on her canvas, because remember, we are doing the same canvas, trying to post similarly so we can kind of keep track of each other. All right, just a few more to go, and that will be it for today. So y'all have a fabulous week. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and there will be a new video on Wednesday, and I will see you then. Say bye, Ariel. She can almost wave to you.